Okay, my educational rant for the day is going to be on climate change. Um, it's a hot topic. It has been for a while now. It basically has to do with exactly what is happening to our planet in regards to our actions. What everybody's most familiar with is the concept of global warming. Well, is there global warming? 99.9% of climatologists agree that there is, and that we're having a direct impact on it. It comes down to, a lot of it comes down to carbon dioxide. Now, every time we breathe, we produce carbon dioxide. And some of the conservatives are going to say, well, functionally the same animals are on Earth that were millions of years ago, and this wasn't an issue. True, but there were nowhere near as many of us. We're overpopulating, and as such, we're producing more carbon dioxide ourselves. And that's just from breathing. Then you get into the fact of aerosol cans, some of the things we burn, and so on. We're producing carbon dioxide at an alarming rate. And it comes down to the whole parts per million. It rose significantly. At one, I think the first time it was measured, it was like 280 points or parts per million, and it rose to 379 since pre-industrial times, and it's accelerating. Well, that leads us to assume that temperature is going to increase. The prediction is, like, over the next 2 decades, it's going to be increasing by at least 0.2 degrees Celsius per decade, possibly even higher. So, with that in mind, you're looking at that's per decade. So, in the next 50 years, the average temperature is going to already be up a full freaking degree. And that's assuming that we stay on the basis that we're on now, which is unlikely. It also has potential for sea level rise. As it gets warmer, the ice caps and the permafrost is going to melt. Ice caps is one thing, but the permafrost is critical to our existence. If we lose the permafrost, we're probably going to lose. It's the best way to put it. I mean, it's only rising by less than like 2 millimeters a year, but add that up. That becomes significant over our lifetime, and coastal areas will feel the effects heavily. And this is also affecting the acidity as the pH balance rises in the ocean. This is going to make hurricanes more intense. They might not be as numerous, but they're going to be there. We're going to be subject to heat waves and heavy precipitation more frequently. There's going to be less sea ice and less snow cover, and we're likely going to have higher winds in the mid-latitudes, while we have more rain in the high latitudes and a lot less in the subtropic, especially inland areas. This is going to make for a planet of extremes. We're humans. Humanity will survive it, but maybe not on the scale that we're looking at. A lot of people are going to die from this in the long run. It leads to some other tangential type stuff, like when we get to fossil fuels and our resources. All we've got are maybe 40 years worth of proven oil reserves, and that's if it doesn't go through the roof. We've maybe got 60 years of natural gas reserves, maybe 120, 130 years of coal reserves. Oil, okay. Here's the problem. While America and some of the other countries are trying to get more eco-friendly to this, now we got China. Everybody in China wants a car now. They all, and they're not going to take the eco-friendly approach. They're going to go with the ones that have the bad carbon dioxide emissions, or carbon monoxide emissions. They're going to go with cars that run on oil, and so on. This could run us out even quicker. Natural gas seems to be one of the big subjects right now, and I believe a deal was just cut between Russia and China where they're going to be doing a pipeline between the two for LNG, which is liquefied natural gas. That can be pretty serious. America should have been leading the charge on LNG, but we tiptoed into it. We baby stepped into it. We were overly cautious, and now Russia and China have gone and done something significant that is going to probably change the makeup of the world when it comes to energy. And we're not involved. We're not at the front. It's not a good thing. And then there's coal. Coal is a naturally dirty substance. It's naturally not a great thing to be burning. However, it's one of the proven fuel sources that's out there. We've developed ways to do clean coal. However, a very small percentage are actually doing it. Even here in America, we've got a small percentage doing it, and we're trying to grow that, but it's just in America. Other places are doing the dirty kind because it's cheaper. It's all about the almighty dollar. Guess what? You can't breathe money. But all you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to buy the respirators and, canisters of oxygen and everything you're going to need, because that's what we're going to have. Everything else is going to be gone. I mean, we're not producing the oxygen we need because we've chopped down a lot of the forests. It's getting worse and worse. How do we fix this? We have to fix it at a global scale. We have to fix it at a global scale, or at some point, much as I said in one of my earlier videos in regards to the birth of an infant star, we're going to have to look to leave. We're going to have to abandon the earth because it won't be habitable because of our hubris, our decadence. So we have to start fixing it on a global scale. Can it be done? I don't know. We haven't been able to fix it on a national scale. Some states have managed it. We need to spread it to national. Then we need to spread it out and cover North America. Then spread it out to the world. If this means we're going to have to, kick a couple of those third world countries right in their, the goddamn heads, we're going to have to do so. Because you're not just ruining it for you, you're ruining it for everybody. I mean, I'm not going to even get into the whole Japan thing right now with their nuclear, or their one plant that's dumping all of the radioactive material into the Pacific Ocean. That's just accelerating the process of destroying the earth. There is climate change, and it's affected by people. I mean, we've added new terminology to our lingo. I mean, there's such a thing as a fire NATO now. The fire season for the western United States has been extended by 75 extra days. What is it? I mean, that tells you that things are hotter, things are more combustible. I mean, the fact that you can actually get a fire that's so friggin' hot that it's going to create a funnel up into the atmosphere, that, in the olden days, that would have been considered an act of God. Now it's an act of stupidity. Stupidity on our part because we haven't actually fixed this. We're hitting that crossroads. That I might be wrong. We might be past that point. We might be beyond the point of no return at this point. But I'm hoping, because that's all I can do is hope, that we haven't hit that critical juncture yet. Before we hit there, we need to, as a species, decide to avert our own extinction. And about the only way we're going to do this is to come up with something to start reversing the problem, or at least staving it off, while we figure out a way to reverse it. We don't have the ability to truly terraform yet. We don't have the ability to produce materials where none exist. We don't have the ability to travel off planet and harvest resources that can be turned into these from other planets yet. Therefore, we have to do something to stave off what is coming. This may be a very pessimistic video at this point, but just the way I see it, it's all laid out in front of us. And the fact that most of us choose to close our eyes, look away, and be blind to it, it just shows that those two words I've used a couple times now, hubris and decadence, they're epidemics. We have to overcome those so we can overcome the problems that are going to be facing us. Most people don't seem to care because they figure they're going to be dead before it hits. You might be right, but then again, you might not be. I'm going to leave it at that, and hopefully I gave you something to think about. If I gave you something to think about, maybe I gave you something to contemplate. If I give you something to contemplate, maybe at some point you'll actually start to see the problem and take action. Make a stand. Educate other people. Sign petitions. Let's force some of this shit to happen. I mean, in theory, the senators and the representatives are supposed to represent our interests. Maybe it's time we stick our foot up their asses and make them do their goddamn jobs and do what's right for us. It's about time this country went green. It's about time we start seeing solar panels everywhere instead of only in a single-digit percentage of the nation. It's time that we're going to see more wind power being harvested. I mean, Texas has, somewhere in the 20% or 30% that they harvested, recently. It's pretty good. It could be better. That's what it's all about. Let's make things better, people.